Life is not always ideal situation. We have ups and downs, joy and sad situations, and God has been always faithful. A journey of 1,000 miles now comes to a beautiful.
Life is a journey, and this far we've journeyed by God's grace. And this far we say his name is Ebenezer. We don't call him Ebenezer for nothing. We don't call him Ebenezer because other people call him Ebenezer. No, we call him Ebenezer because thus far is the Lord. My name is Patience Omboy, and I'm currently in fourth year. The journey, I've said, has been by God's grace, and His hand has literally taken me from first year, second year, third year, and now I'm in fourth year and completing. It has not been easy, definitely. Especially right now, I'm born again. But back then, I wasn't born again. I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. I was swayed by tides and pressure of peer pressure. I literally succumbed to negative peer pressure. Whenever I didn't have a stand, and failing to have a stand, trust you will fail. You will stand to fail, and that's what actually happened. I've been filled with direction, and ever since then, my life has taken. Jesus has directed my life to an interesting trajectory, especially when it comes to discovering purpose, when it comes to discovering likes and hobbies. And I would just like to say thank you to Him, because He has literally defined purpose. I've also met amazing people who have influenced my life very positively. I've had amazing friends in place of bad friendships. I've had nice friendships. I've had purposeful friendships. And I would like to challenge you to have Christ reevaluate your life, reevaluate purpose, reevaluate direction. And when you do that, things will align for the better. Have yourselves a good time and purpose to live a defined life in Christ. Thank you.
Yeah, praise God. I am Abel Mwangi, a student of fourth year doing education arts. Yeah, I'm in the CU serving in the ushering department. Yeah, today I wanted to share part of my story, mainly on about a breakup that I experienced in my first year here in campus. Yeah, back in my high school, I did my KCSE in 2017. Yeah, and I did not pass. Yeah, despite being so active in the CU leadership. Yeah, but when I came here I came back and did my KCSE in 2018. Yeah, and passed, and just now came in here in 2019. But when I came here, I did not want to involve myself with any of the CU activities. I wanted just to become a church goer, just on Sundays and Thursdays. So as I continued, I wanted just to enjoy my life, in short. So as I enjoyed my life, yeah, I fell in friendship with a girl from KU, which I was just connected by his cousin, and we became lovebirds. In short, let me say that. Yeah, so the relationship started there on early of 2020s. Yeah, I started our dating despite the COVID thing. We always managed to do this thing. We had set our boundaries. I had all things that could confirm it as a relationship. Yeah, so we continued, and after the COVID, we just met. I went to visit her in KU. Yeah, and we spent some few days there. Yeah, I saw it was the thing that I wished, the life that I wished in campus. Yeah, after that, we also met several times. One, we met here in Karatina. Yeah, and we spent some days here with her. Yeah, it was just I can't say it's a Christian relationship. It was just a kind of a secular relationship for just 1-3 people. I did not want to become so close with the CU because I was serving in the technical. So I just kept pending. But some of my CU guys just wanted me to tell them where I was for that long time. So we continued with the relationship. Yeah, and we stayed up for more than a year. And the last time I went to visit the girl at Thika, where she was doing her attachment. Yeah, because she was doing a diploma course. So we went. Yeah, I did not think how that could happen that easily. I could not expect that the relationship seemed now to be ending when I saw he was no more in love again through her actions. Yeah, even he was not like fearing me anymore. So I went there. We started having quarrels all over, some phone calls which were so long that I could not even imagine what was about to happen. So it was so rough for me. It had pained my heart. So even I remember the last day, she did not even cook for me. We didn't even cook. We just slept. I just slept hungry. Yeah. So I saw like that was the end of my relationship. Yeah. So I came here back in Karatina. I tried to bring things back normal, but it was so late. I could not be able to do it. Yeah. And on 26th of February, I remember her sending me a Word document. I thought she was apologizing for everything that she had done for me, but so worrying. She had written me a breakup letter where she had told me that I was good, but she had seen it's good, it's not the right time. We want us to get apart. So I felt very bad. I felt like the earth is ending, but yeah. So I started to go back. I started my journey back with God now. I started attending the evening prayers. I started becoming active. I don't have even courage to go back in the technical because they had known me that I was not active there. So I saw it's good now to start venturing a new life. Where I started, and I started there back in 2.2, where I was given a place in the Bible study. Yeah, and I ran a Bible study. Yeah, to try and catch up with the time that I had lost here in campus. Later now I joined in ushering after I came for the orientation week. My life started now thriving back into Christ. Yeah, it was that tough moment to heal from the relationship that had broken. What I can advise people who are wishing to pursue relationship is that they keep God first. They don't rush for this thing. For those who are in this toxic relationship or the secular relationship, I could advise them to just part ways, because this thing will not work. It will just stress you. But I say that may God guide you, those who are willing even to fall in relationship, that He may give you the right people. Enyewe character development likari, it changes fast. Yeah, God bless you. Yeah.
Hello, so I'm Duncan Mwanje, and mine is a story of hope and faith. I was born back in 1998 at a place called Yami, Kericho County, and due to the kind of work that my dad used to do, we used to relocate so openly, and when I was about 7, we relocated to Nyandarua County, where we finally settled. So by the time we were relocating to Nyandarua County, my dad had retired, and that was the prime age where most of my siblings and my elder brothers and sisters were still schooling. So it was quite a challenge, and due to that, there were so many rivals at that time, so many conflicts, and things got out of hand, and my parents had to split, at least for a while, and I chose to go with my mom to Nyeri, her ancestral home, and during that time, I remember so many issues were coming up, and at one point in time, I almost drowned in a well. Yeah, because nobody was there to look after us, and we were just so many kids. Okay, after that, we did go home, and my parents reconciled, and they tried to live harmoniously once again. And I'd say that things took another turn. As much as there was no rival between my parents, we as the siblings, we still had to we still had to fight for so much due to the fact that we were many at home. All my siblings, my elder brothers, none of us was working. So there were so many rivals, and my parents could not control it. So I remember at one point in time, I and my brother, we were just playing games, and it happened that my brother got angry over some little issues, and I didn't know that he had something in store for me. So mi nika prepare maji yangu ya kuoga, and unfortunately akachukua kitu akaweka kwa ile maji. So mchana tulikuwa tumeshinda poa. I had to ask him nini, unajua tu, and obviously ali come up na ile hasira, and he took a log of wood and akanigonga nayo kwa kichwa, and ilikuwa evening. So mi nilikimbia kwa mom, and you can imagine hiyo that tension. Nimekimbia kwa madhe, so madhe ananiangalia kichwa, and there is that curve, kuna curve ya wood kidogo kwa kichwa, and I try to rub and so on. And so easy times bado sikuwa like nimebriefiwa about anything, about like sikuwa nimeambiwa so much about God, but we used to go to church, we used to do all these things. And I remember your time ilikuanga on a Wednesday. So on a Wednesday ndo nilikuwa naambiwa sasa, but mi niliulizanga madhe after menrab and so on that kesho tutaenda kanisa kweli. And so they were dead scared, wakachukua gari wakanipeleka hosi, and fortunately hata the scan walikataa because ya after effects, but hakukuwa na complications sama internal bleeding. So I survived that, and nika join high school. Nilikuwa nasomea Kangwe Boys High School, or sahin wanaita Amani Boys, and we used to call that place a military camp, because it was more than a military camp. So hapo I'd say that was my turning point. That was where nilijua that there is a God in heaven, and that is where I began my relationship with God, because hapo form 2 I chose to trust in him fully. Nilichagua kuamini that everything yenye anafanya it is for a reason, and hakuna kitu ambayo anafanya kuni like.
And life has been amazing, but challenges have been here and there, but I'm here to share my story on how I overcame family challenges. Yes, I'm from a land where most of us, they do polygamous marriages. Yes, my dad had to marry 4 wives, and unfortunately my mom was the last wife to him, and my dad and my mom broke up when I was 6 months, so I was raised up by my stepmother, and life has been so challenging. Issues have been there because I was the only child in my mom's house, and since it was a court order, they had to break up. But I passed some challenges in primary school, whereby my stepmom and my brothers and my stepsisters, they didn't like me to attend to school, but I tried and it was successful. In high school, it was so challenging because my dad gave permission to my brother so that he will be paying my school fees, but my brother ignored it, and I had a challenge in paying school fees. But I talked to the principal, and I was able to study from Form 1 to Form 4. But challenges again have been there. I was able to be diagnosed of some diseases like ulcers. Yes, because I wasn't talking to anyone at home, because we were not in good terms with my brothers and sisters, because I had no sister and brother since I was born alone. But through all that, I was able to stand. And for me, joining campus, it was still a challenging, because my brother didn't want to pay for my school fees. So he ended up looking for a man who is going to marry me, and he had to bring him back to my dad. And On that, it was challenging because my brother wanted me to be married, but me, I wanted to go to school, and unfortunately they also ended up to agreeing on bride price, but I had to run away from home for like 2 weeks so that I can escape that stress and depression. And I looked for some people who could talk to me, to guide me on going back to school, and I had to go and look for school fees. Yes, I finished my KCSE in the year 2017. That's why I wasn't able to join campus, because my brother didn't want it to happen. So I went, I looked for a job, I struggled, I looked for a job, then that's how I joined my campus in 2019 after gaining my school fees. And coming to campus, life was challenging. I was diagnosed of blood pressure, and I was supposed to be staying in my room every time, and because it was hard for me, you know, people with blood pressure, it is hard for them to read, or maybe if they hear any noise around them, it is going to affect them. So every time I was told by the doctors to stay in my room, to sleep for hours, because if I hear of any noise, it will affect me. But that all, I also managed it, and in that aspect that my mom and my dad broke up, I had to look for a way of looking for where my mom is, because my sisters were telling me, like, you know what, your mom died of HIV, and you too, you're going to die of it. But I've been hearing people around my place telling me that your mom said hi to you, so I wanted to know, where is she? So I took a step of searching for her. Yes, it took me a lot of time, because I didn't want to communicate to anyone at home that I'm looking for my mom, since my dad has told me that he doesn't want to hear of any story like that. So I went and I was talking to people around my home, trying to tell them if maybe they know where my mom is, so that they can direct me to where she is. And it was so hard for them, because I remember one day I came when I was unconscious, and I told my mom that someone told me that your mom is somewhere. So my mom was so mad, and she went and told the neighbor that she did a mistake. So at that point, I've never had the neighbors talking to me about my mom. So I had to go to look for her, and it took me time, because I don't have a phone. Also, again, I don't know where she lives. But after we met with her in 2020, September. That is after a good 23 years of her leaving me behind. And I can tell you, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yes, but I had an issue because my self-esteem was so low. And again, I didn't believe, I was in so pain, and I was so mad to my mom that it was like she left me behind for 6 months, and she went and she didn't come back to look for me. And I was so mad, and I was so crying and asking myself, is she really my mom? And I was like, God, you will have allowed me to die, because this thing is so hard to me to bear. And my brothers and my sisters, they are fighting me each and every day, but the Lord has helped me. Yes. So I'm here to encourage us that family issues are there. Maybe your mom and your dad, they broke up, but you know what? That's not your issue. You know what? That's not your problem. Those are your parents' problem. You personally, what are you going to do? Like, yes, they have broken us. They have broken up. You cannot reunite them. But what you can do is give yourself peace. So I'm here to encourage us that despite the challenges that you have passed in the family, maybe brothers and sisters are fighting you, maybe family members are looking down upon you, they are seeing like you are of no importance to that family. But remember that the marriage was between your parents and not you. So after the good 23 years of looking for my mom, and I met her, I came back and I told God, I was like, God, forgive me for what I've made, because I now come to my senses and I realized that it was the problem of my parents and not my problem. And the things of pressure, the thing of us, it was affecting me and not affecting my parents. So that encouraged me that even if I'll be stressing myself, my parents would be affected. Even if I'll be stressing myself, my brothers and sisters won't be affected. But the person who is going to suffer into depression, it is me. So I regained back my confidence and I told God, God, I need you to help me. I need you to overcome all this and this. And from that time, it was easy to me to communicate to my parents. It was easy for me to communicate with my biological mom because I was mad at her. But when the time I realized that, yes, it was a court order and there's nothing that they can do about it. Yes, so I have to accept myself that I've been left. But the Lord has been so good, such that my mom, the mom that I'm staying with, has been able to raise me up despite the challenges, despite the how my fellow siblings are treating me. But you have to accept yourself and you have to move forward. So if you are passing in any challenges in the family, if you are feeling like your self-esteem is low, just turn to God, and when you pray to God, everything is going to be successful.
My name is Joseph Wawero. I was born in the year 1998, but at the year 2003, a life of tragedy started. My dad had a hardware, whether he ran or, and he had an employee that he had employed who used to go to a place called Uganda there to come with some metals and those kind of things. And even as you know, the work is done there. And one time, the employee, I think, stole one of the worth metal. And then when my dad started now conflicting with him about the metal, I think the man hit my dad with the metal. And 1, 2, 3 days, he started complaining about a headache. He complained about a headache. He would go to hospital back and then after 2 months, he lost his life. I could not even be able to rub all the memories that we shared together with my dad, because the life was good. It was that good life and nothing to struggle on. A tragic life now started, and even after he died, I buried him and remained with my mom alone and my sister, and there a single mom had to take now responsibility of bringing a bread on the table, even now that the husband is not there. We could not even continue with the hardware because now my mom alone, one hand cannot even be able to handle everything. She had to concentrate on the 2 kids here that remain. But after my dad died, that is the life of tragedy that I'm speaking about started now moving into my life, and I started now becoming so much rebellious. I felt so bad, and at those times I wished that even the world could swallow me, and even I could die and those kind of things. He was so much close to me. As people say that they lost their friends, for me I lost my best friend. He was always there for us. He was loving, caring, all those kind of things that you can describe to a good man who is taking care of the family, loving them, and even knowing that that is their responsibility. Now we went that way, and I started becoming so much rebellion. That thing hit me so much. It keeps on reminding me the memories that it continued now hitting in my life, and I started now living a life of rebellious heart. It was now rude even to my mom, own, even to my sister. I could do bad things. I remember one time I burned my aunt's house. Now my mom decided to shift me to my grandmom's home. I think what I lacked is a fatherly voice, that I needed to hear a voice of a man speaking to me, and I got it from my grandfather. And I stayed with them from class 7 until to Form 4, the first time that I got a C minor. And my grandmom, I sat down in my room. There is no one who is speaking to me, no one is talking, not even my mom, not even my grandfather is talking to me. And when I sat down, I told God, I'm weak because you're strong, and there is no way we will ever be equal with you. And now my grandmom decided to take me back to school where I schooled at Salient High School, and the second time I scored very well and I joined Karatina University. But before I joined, my grandfather died. Then I thought that this death is now hitting me so much. Why do God eliminate good people and let the bad people to dominate? And I felt like things are not even working out? Why is death now coming along my life and eliminating those people that I love so much? But I knew that I have now to stand and to become a gentleman and to kick off with life, because God is not yet done with me. I joined Karatina University, where I was brought by my aunt at 2019 there, where I joined my first year. And I remember that evening when my aunt left me with a 50 shillings, and I had to print one document. So I used 20 shillings to print the document. I was left with 30 shillings, and in the evening there was nothing to feed on because we had traveled the whole day. There is nothing you can eat. I remember I borrowed 10 shillings from my roommate, and I used the 40 shillings to take supper that time. And the day started moving on. My mom stayed 2 days without even sending me a single coin. And I thought, like, now I'm in the wilderness alone. There is nothing I can do. No one is even speaking to me. And where will I even get this upkeep? I thought, like, now this one I have to give up again, because now things are not fitting. But I came to found some good friends the moment I joined the Christian Union. That is where my source of joy started, because even the Bible says that lack of joy is joy is the source of strength. When you have joy, you will have strength to cope with what life has to offer. I met a good friend of mine where we studied together in the same class called Brian, who fed me a whole semester, 50 shillings without giving up. That one was amazing, and I cannot even be able to describe how I felt the whole semester. My mom is staying for 2 weeks without even sending anything. I don't have help, and the reason why I never have help with the first semester is because now I had not finished my high school fee, and now they could not even give me the result. And even joining campus was a miraculous, because it is the registrar who helped me to be registered without even that result, and that one is tremendous. But I came to learn that there is some things that God was experienced so that I can learn. So I joined there. I found people in the Christian Union who helped me. I remember a time that Chebon built us a group and created us a group with a fellow people, where we used to talk and encourage us every time and every now and then, and he told us a lot of encouragement, so that keeps me moving. I found some other good friends like Charles Munyare, who was able to even take me to a department, in ushering department, and help me to cope with what life has to offer, encouraging me now and then. Some other good guys in Karatina University Christian Union, and that is where I started building my confidence, and now knowing that God has something to offer. Now things shifted that way. No fees, nothing, and nothing to pay, no fees, and I felt like things are not even working out. At a point I wanted even to give up, and sometimes I failed even to pray. I said that I'm not going to pray because I think this world is not even becoming fair. Why is this thing not even happening? And why? And at a point I was saying, if my dad could be alive, I could be getting everything good, and I could be yani the upkeep that a parent has to. I think ile kitu iliniloa moral sana, nika feel like I cannot even continue, and nika feel like nataka to give up in life. But I remember a certain time that I had not paid my fees, and I sat in my room crying the whole day, listening to one song at that particular day, listening to one song, because nothing is even working. Na nikiwa nimekaa pale kwa room yangu naambia God, and at that time I was the vice secretary of the Christian Union, and I was telling God, you gave me this assignment because you knew how to feed me. And why is now that I'm about to do my exam, and there is nothing, and there is no point of that I can get that fees, and I felt so bad. When sitting there, one of the associates called Naomi Praise texted me and asked me, are you good? Nikamwambia niko sawa, but the issue hapa ni fees tu yenye sina. But Naomi akaniambia things are going to be better, and I said that let me think of what we can do. And nikiwa nimekaa pale tena, Salome Ndungu akanitext, akaniongelesha, akanizaniaje then akamwambia mambo tu na fees, wakasema wanataka ku create group, and they created a group of associate. I thought it is associate alone, but we decided to include even the student from my old Christian Union, that is Karatina University Christian Union. I tell you, it takes courage for one to ask for help, sababu sikuwa nimekubali ninaweza creatiwa group ndio niweze kuchangiwa pesa. It was on Wednesday saa 9 the group was created, and in the evening hakuna pesa ilikuwa imetumwa. I saw there is no hope even for me to get it, and on Thursday in the morning I found 4,000. People had even started sending, but on Thursday in the morning, on Wednesday at night there was nothing that was said. Thursday in the morning I found some cash that had been sent, and I uploaded them. I put the list in the WhatsApp group. It was about 4,000 and something. On Thursday in the evening it was 6,570. I thought that now, even though it is a half, nothing is serious, because I need 12,200 to pay, because the exam was on Monday. But on Friday saa 6, I'm telling you, it was tremendous, because the cash had shifted to 16,000 over, and I had even to dismantle the group because the cash had already been paid. And I was making some joke there, ninawaambia mumenilipia fees mpaka mukanisindikiza na zaunga, and I felt so much good. I appreciated them so much. All those who took part in helping me, and even those who prayed for me, even those who took part in my academic, either direct or indirect, I prayed, and my heart is always in prayer with you, that may Lord bless you so much. So the journey has been long, tough and rough, but I never gave up, because the Lord knew. He brought some people to affirm my journey, and He protected me jealously. Hapa nimekaa hivi chini, mimi ni 4th year, ni kumaliza tunamaliza. We have some 1 month and 1 month to do with our 4 years course, and I thank God so much, because tumepigana vita kali sana, and God has helped us. How can I even explain that even my sister is in campus, and both of us we are in campus with one single parent taking care of us, and now tumefika campus. I want to encourage someone mwenye ako pale ameketi hapo hivi, and I feel like right now as I'm speaking, they are wounded, and the people from their family, the loved one, and the people who have stabbed them, and now they felt like nothing good can come out of them, and the people they thought nothing good can come out of them, they are the people who are standing together with them right now. I want to tell you, when you allow God to take place in your life, God will surely take place in your life. He will help you, He will lift you up, He will make everything to be possible. When you know the Lord who is able to produce, you will know the production that is able to produce will be wow. So continue trusting Him. Join the Christian Union. Wewe mwenye umekati ya pale hivi chini na unashindwa where to join, and God will work together with you. The purpose is to serve, and the moment you serve Him, He will never let you go down. I want to thank you people when you amenisaidia kwa maisha yangu. Every person who have taken place in my life, even the executive, those who have cried my cry, even when it does not concern them, I thank them so much. And I thank the Christian Union for molding me whom I am, that I know I cannot have a room of giving up. So that is my story. I believe that is going to change someone somewhere there, and God is going to bless us all. Thank you.
I'm Sioka Peter, a 4th year student pursuing Bachelor of Education Arts. I'm a teacher by profession, and I take this chance to help people, so that they can be able how to manage stress and depression. Personally, I'm a depression survivor, and when someone is suffering from stress and depression, one is not able to talk to somebody, because you are fearing that that person may share your story, and that is what made me to attempt suicide sometimes. I've tried suicide several times. The last time was in 2020 when I attempted suicide. It was in the month of October. I attempted suicide, and I was hospitalized. I stayed in the ICU for 8 days. Upon waking up, I did not have any memory. I was not remembering whether I'm a student. I was not remembering even my parents, my brothers. I had no memory. It took around 6 weeks to regain my memory, and that time we were waiting for the exams. Even the born again people suffer from stress and depression. I was born again in the year 2015 when I was in Form 1. But in the salvation journey, sometimes you backslide. So in the time of backsliding, that is when you are tempted, when you have some problems, you don't have somebody to talk to. I was an introvert so much, and was also very shy to talk to somebody. So when you are an introvert and you are shy and you have a problem, you just keep quiet, and the problem will just consume you. I was consumed by problems, sometimes personal issues, academics, family issues. But what mostly affects me was family issues and academics. And when you have family issues, you feel like you are unwanted. So when you don't have someone to talk to, you feel unwanted. And if you are unwanted, you just want to go away from this planet so that you can run away from the problems instead of facing the problem. That is what has affected me for so many years. I attempted suicide 13 times. The last time was in 2020, as I've said earlier. That is when I realized that instead of running away from my problems, I should face the problems. It took me a lot of time to be able to talk to somebody, and after some time, that is when I realized that my story can motivate people. People can use it as a lesson. And so I do mentorship programs. When I go to schools, I am able to share my story. And when I share my story, it moves people. And that is my aim. I give a story to help somebody somewhere, to encourage somebody. That is when I realized that when I remain an introvert, people will suffer depression, people will suffer stress. But when I came out and started sharing my story, people earned my trust. People could share their stories with me. I could help somebody, and even if I'm unable to, I'm able to hook somebody up with a profession, and that is my aim. Helping people to fight stress, helping people to fight depression, helping people not to commit suicide, helping people out from their problems. Because when somebody shares the story, that person is able to change. That person is able to know how to manage the situation the person is in. That is when the year 2019 when I joined Karatina. It was a hard time for me. That is when I felt like I'm worthless. It's like my family is abandoning me. I attempted suicide, but God was there for me, because I just took a medicine, some chemical. But when I slept, everything was just normal. I just woke up very healthy. So I was like, why did I not die? And I really want to die because I feel like I'm alone. But that is when I had friends in first year who used to put me on toes to be in prayers. So they used to talk to me, used to tell me, if you did not die, don't question God. Just know that God has a purpose for you in this life. So that is when I realized, like, my story and what I'm passing through. When I share to people, it can change people, it can motivate people, it can encourage people. And so I take this chance to encourage people to be able to share. Don't sit on your problems. Share your stories with somebody. When you have problems, don't fear. Look for somebody who is trustworthy, someone you can share to, someone who you know is born again, can give you spiritual help. I take this chance also. I would like to fight mental illness. I would like people, when someone is suffering from depression and stress, the stress affects the mental status of the person. And when someone has stress or depression, most of the time the person is anxious. Sometimes you find that you are anxious, you find that you are sad, you get frustrated by very little things. But when you talk to somebody, you realize that people are facing bigger problems than your problem, and that is an encouragement. When you have a problem and you share to somebody, you realize that that person has a greater problem than yours, and it will be an encouragement, and that will make you to soldier on with the life. Don't run away from the problems you have. Face your problems, fight it. What makes me to share my story is because I learned that sharing it makes me feel better. Sharing it makes me help people. Somebody somewhere is suffering from depression, is suffering from stress, and is wondering what to do. First, accept yourself that you are in that situation. Then when you accept yourself, be ready to fight it. When you fight it, the next day will be better for you. Don't run away from your problems. When you are born again, it's not that you want to suffer stress and depression. They'll be on your way. There'll be temptations. But when you keep on fighting, you will always remain to be strong. You'll be able to fight your stress and depression. And by that, as suicidal attempts, suicidal thoughts will not be part and parcel of your life. An encouragement to people who are suffering from stress and depression: always share with somebody. Don't let your problems consume you. Share with somebody your story. Share with somebody you can trust. People have battled stress. Others gave up, committed suicide, but I did not give up. I'm here as a sign to encourage you, so that you can know that you are not alone. I've battled, I've won. Since 2020, I've never had any other suicidal thought. When you are born again, you'll backslide, but don't just stay there in your comfort. Take that step. Be born again. Go back to Christ. When you don't have Christ in your life, you won't make it. Life will be full of ups and downs for you. But when you have Christ, at least you have someone so supreme you can rely to, someone you can lean to. When you have problems, even before you share to somebody, God will show you a way. There will be a sign. But when you are in your comfort zone, you don't know Christ, you don't want to be born again, you've backslid, but you don't want to go back to Christ, depression will consume you. Stress will consume you. Everything which is worldly will consume you because you don't have Christ in your life. The time I was suffering stress and depression, I lacked somebody I could rely to. But right now, that is when I realized that I have people I can share my story to, people who have listening ear. That is when I started feeling better after I share my story. So don't sit there. Look for somebody you can talk to. Look for somebody you can share to. And by that, you are going to feel better. And the last encouragement: while you are just there to your comfort zone, you have been battling stress and depression, make God your personal help. Be prayerful. If you are not prayerful, you won't make it. Be prayerful. Prayer is the only thing which will stand when your friends will not be there. You can talk to your friend will share. But when you talk to God, God will not share it to anybody else. God will always be there for you.
Nawasalimu nyote katika jina la Yesu Kristo. Jina langu ni Scholar Chikorir. Nashukuru Mungu sana kwa umbali huu amenileta tangia mwaka wa kwanza hadi sasa hivi mwaka wa 4. Hakika kila safari ina changamoto. Safari yangu tangia mwaka wa kwanza haujakuwa rahisi, lakini zaidi ya hayo yote Mungu amekuwa mwaminifu. nimekuwa na changamoto mbalimbali, haswa changamoto za kifedha. Ni wakati nilikuwa mwaka wa 3, ikabidi nikairisha masomo yangu, nikaenda nyumbani, lakini nashukuru Mungu kwamba alinijalia nikaweza kurejea shuleni na kuendelea na masomo yangu. Sasa hivi nikiwa mwaka wa 4, ningependa kumhimiza yeyote ambaye anaweza kuwa na changamoto za kifedha, haswa za karo za shule, kwamba sio mwisho wa maisha. Ni kwa sababu gani? Kile ambacho Mungu aliahidi kwamba atatekeleza, lazima atatekeleza. Ni wewe tu kumtumainia na kumtegemea. Kumbuka kwamba hakuna kitu ambacho Mungu huanza na asiweze kutimiza. Aliahidi kwamba